I'm manifesting something and I just experienced the bridge. So I want to talk to you all about it because sometimes I think we forget, and myself included, that manifesting is not something that just drops from the sky. It's not like this magical, mystical thing. It's literally us living our lives and things unfolding in our reality in like the most natural way, right? So one of my desires, I have plenty, is to be a rich and famous content creator. And backstory, I used to have a radio show, a talk radio show on SiriusXM. It was my own show. It was like the highlight of my life. It was a manifestation in itself. It was like my dreams coming true. And I was like the happiest professionally that I've ever been. A lot of other things were happening professionally outside of the radio show. I had a column and had a contract with Latina Magazine. So, like, life was good. I was in my relationship with my son's father. Like, life was good, okay? I manifested things not being so good. Now I recognize that, but that's a story for another day. Since then, I have tried to have my own podcast, and I did for a little bit, but it wasn't like super successful and monetized because of my assumptions, because everything is our assumptions. But now that I have a different mindset, different mental diet, and like I'm just a different person, like my identity is has completely transformed into a woman that is confident, that knows that I am the god of my reality, that knows that whatever I want is mine and it is done. Now I'm ready to take on like radio podcasts all over again, but like as this new person. And the thing with self-concept is like nothing's in a vacuum, right? So your desire is tied to your self-concept, because if you want something but you don't think you can have it, you don't think you're a person that gets things, then you're not going to get the thing, even if you're affirming for just the thing, right? If you see yourself as chosen and loved and popular and interesting, and you want to launch a career as a TikToker, then yeah, it's gonna happen, right? Because you have to believe that you are the person that can have the desire that you are affirming or scripting for. Because I'm this person, it felt like not aligned for my friend and I to start the podcast and record at home. But we decided to go that route because we were beginning and we didn't want to invest yet in a podcast studio. And we did try to find one, but it just kind of didn't feel like the right time. We haven't started the podcast yet, and there was a lot of delays in us starting the podcast. And I know why we didn't launch when we intended to, which was last year. I'm gonna get to that. So we decide to just like record in my house. I buy equipment, and today, as I'm sitting here with my coffee and my sports bra, because I'm gonna go on a walk, she texts me and tells me that she's not feeling well. And today was the day that we were going to record like our first podcast and just like try out the sound and see how it all worked out. But then last night, I was thinking again, like about I'm a rich and famous content creator. I make so much money doing what I love, just like sitting on the couch, saturating my mind, relishing in like this career that I have, that I enjoy, that I love, right? And then I had the thought, like, man, maybe we should do a podcast studio. So I start looking at studios. I look for one that's local to both of her and I. And then I end up texting it to her. And she reminds me, oh, remember I sent you that studio before and you said that you didn't think it was going to work. And I was like, oh, okay, but I think it's going to work now, because now I'm a different person. So I'm not seeing the negatives about the studio. Now I'm like, oh, no, but I think it's perfect, right? So then she's like, okay, well, I'll come by tomorrow, which is today, and like we'll do our first recording. I said, yeah, we can talk about this, but let's record the first podcast at my house like we intended and really decide whether we're going to do this podcast studio or not. So this morning I'm laying in bed and I'm affirming, because I always do affirmations as soon as I wake up. And my first affirmation is I manifest what I want quickly. And so I'm affirming I manifest what I want quickly. And then like I get a flash scene of her and I like at a podcast studio. And then I get another scene of like her and I trying to record a podcast at my house and like the audio not working, and us deciding, yeah, let's do the podcast studio. And this is all while I'm like closing my eyes in my bed, half asleep, half awake, affirming I manifest what I want quickly. So it wasn't like a forced scene. It kind of interrupted my affirming. So I'm like, wait, why am I thinking about this when I'm affirming I manifest what I want quickly? So I shook it off, and then I go and I get my coffee, and I'm thinking, man, I think we should just do the podcast studio, because I remember how alive I felt when I was in studio. I remember how fun it was. And I just kind of, I got a flashback of like me being in Sirius XM and the studios. And I got a flashback of when I did my own podcast. I did for a little bit rent a studio for like a month before COVID, and then it shut down. And then I just sit down on my couch and I'm drinking my coffee, and now I'm on with you. But before I got on TikTok, she texted me and was like, I'm not feeling well. Can we just like do a FaceTime? And I was like, well, we were supposed to record the podcast. So are we not going to do it? Okay, well, let's just talk about the podcast studio. And I let her know I actually think that it's even. Sorry. And she just texted me. I actually think that we should just go all out, and I think that we should do a podcast studio. And this is a very long story, and thank you for watching this long, but my whole point is that my higher self redirected me. I was going to play small, and I'm going to do another video on this. I just wanted to share like what happened in real time, but my desire was always to be in a podcast studio, and then I like talked myself out of it because of this self-concept of, well, maybe that's aiming too high, right? The self-concept is everything. What we think we can handle and do is everything. What we think we can have is everything, along with the desire, right? So think about that. Think about how you're framing your desire in your mind in proportion to like your relationship to it. Are you aligning with what you want? Are you playing small? Are you deciding that something's too challenging or it's going to be harder, so you're manifesting a smaller step because you think that manifesting the big thing is too daunting for you? And if that's what you think, then you need to work on your self-concept, and eventually your self-concept, having the self-concept of someone that has the thing, that can have the thing, that deserves the thing, that's valuable, whatever it is, insert whatever you need to affirm in terms of self-concept. It's going to, like, your higher self is going to redirect you to align with the new self-concept. Like, your actions, your inspired actions are eventually going to naturally be redirected by your higher self, by the God within, so that you don't play small, because playing small does not align with the self-concept of someone that has everything she wants or they want or he wants, okay? So, long story, but I hope this was helpful. Like, follow. See you soon. Bye.